Life is funny, how it twists and turns and hurts and heals. Sometimes you can be so sure of a path, so unwaveringly committed to an outcome, that one mistake threatens the foundation of everything you've worked so hard to build. But what if that mistake wasn't a mistake at all? What if it was really the start of the most incredible journey? What if it was a small black and white husky named Eve? We were never supposed to have dogs. I grew up on a farm and I really understood what it was like to have a lot of pets. And Dustin was someone who lived in the city and wasn't allowed a cat. So he sort of didn't really, thanks Montana, didn't really have a good idea. But we wanted you, we did, we really did.
Well, 12 years ago, we walked into a pet store and walked out with a little black and white husky named Eve. Our lives were changed forever.
Dustin's convinced me we were gonna get a cat.
We're gonna rescue a cat from like our local rescue organization called the SPCA.
And I'm sitting talking to this guy and I turn around because I'm like, this is Dustin's cat, like where is he?
And I completely disappeared and came back holding Eve.
And he's like, here's my husky puppy. And I'm like, and I just knew like it wasn't going back. He had already like attached to this dog and it just wasn't going back.
Eve, what's going on with the Huskies?
So we brought this husky puppy home and she was a nightmare for starters. And then we needed to get her new food because she was constantly having, it's normal for huskies, but she was having a lot of digestive issues. So we went back to get different food and her little sister was still in this cage, but she'd gotten so much bigger in this like glass cage. And I was like, we have to bring her home, it's her sister. We thought they'd be best friends and it would be like this great husky story. But by that point, Eve ran our house and was like, I don't like this dog in my house. So it was fun. We had 2 husky puppies in a condo and it was pure chaos.
Mountie, come see the Huskies. Come here, Mountie. Mountie, what's this? What's this? Is it Huskies? Huskies? Look at them. They're getting you.
We call Montana a rescue. That is what we've always told people. But we actually went to go look at her to purchase her. And it turned into something where we decided we were going to rescue her because the conditions there were not great. She had fleas and worms. She was kept in a kennel with another dog at 6 months of age. She'd never been on a walk. And so basically we got there that day and I think we just thought we'd go look at this husky. We'd probably not get it, but we just really wanted to see her. And it became, we will give you whatever you want. We're taking this husky home with us.
We didn't have a hatchback at the time. It was just like the back seat of a like 4-door
tighter
car. Montana like went into like the floor of the back seat and like was down there by herself trying to get away from them and was like baring her teeth the whole ride home.
And I don't know, we were just I think too naive to like not, we were just so naive. We thought, oh, it'll be great. And then it just, it was chaos.
Hey, don't pull their hair out. Eve just wants to beat them. Evie, come here.
Eve was our first dog. She was the dog that started the whole journey.
She was the blueprint.
Yeah.
For the Huskies. Eve was so serious, but she was also our cuddliest dog. She was aloof, but she was also the most sweet and sensitive because when I was sick, she'd sit by my bedside the whole time. She was allergic to grass, and her favorite thing to do was to roll in grass and be covered in hives, and then she'd scream and cry at home and like rip her skin apart. But then we'd go out again and she'd roll in the grass. The inconsistencies of her personality were like she would be so aloof and then she'd want to cuddle you, and she'd be allergic to grass, but then she'd roll in the grass. There was no rhyme or reason, but once you really understood her personality and knew the ins and outs of Eve, I don't think that, I mean, she found us that day. I don't think we could have asked for a better dog. If you'd asked us this several months ago, like we would have been bawling. You say the word Eve and it's like instant tears. And we've just like recently been able to sort of like start talking about her and it's like, it feels good.
This is Ice. She is our elder stateswoman.
Yeah, she's almost 13 now, so she's getting up there. It's funny because when you first meet her, she's like in your face. Like she wants to be the first dog at you. She'll jump at you, and people don't really like Ice at the beginning.
Oh, Ice, you're peeing in the water? Seriously?
Ice.
Come on, it's just nice water and you're peeing in it?
But it's really funny because she very quickly becomes everyone's favorite dog. She's just so goofy and so ridiculous. She's always the one that starts all the problems and rolls in all the stuff, but she gets away with it because people grow to love her.
This little angel is Montana. She is our, I don't want to say rescue, but like quote unquote rescue.
We always joke with Montana that she is literally like an angel because of what she came from. And whereas the other dogs have always been like, you know, you want them to do something and they'll be like, why should I? Or like, you know, you have to give them something to do it.
Eve, you wanna go? You wanna go for a walk? Ready? Come on.
Minty, get out, come on. Come on, Minty.
Come on, Minty. Oh, there you go.
Montana, come. Good girl.
Montana will just do anything just to please you and is our most loving and sort of caring dog.
Yeah, she's a special one.
We've never thought like we want to replace Eve with Poppy, and I don't think you could replace Eve ever. Having Poppy be around and be as mischievous and like strong-willed, that was Eve in a nutshell. And so it's been really funny and weird having this sort of second reincarnation of the same dog. She's super different, but compared to Ice and Montana, Poppy is the most like Eve. Come on, Papa.
Poppy, hey, Poppy, heel. Oh my God.
The three of them together when they were puppies, and then for the years that we had them all together, which was 11 years that they were all together, they were like a pack, and there was a routine and there was a system, and they had a very distinct place that they walked, that they ate, that they slept. It's interesting to see them with the dynamic with Poppy because it's completely different. They're kind of motherly to her, whereas it was like this band of sisters back in the day. Poppy, you are so special. Huskies are definitely not easy. We've had all sorts of issues over the years. I think if we were ever not gonna have the Huskies, there was 1 week that you almost were like, that's it,
I'm
they've
done.
beaten me.
We were hiking and Ice had broken into an outhouse and dipped her head into the toilet and came running back down the path with like a ring of shit from like the shoulders up. I had to like scrub her in a stream with my bare hands and sand. And then in the same week, we were down by the dikes instead of in the woods. I think it was fall, and she had found a dead salmon that had come up the stream to spawn and completely rolled in it. And it was like super decomposed and like gel, and threw that up in the car on the way home as well.
So it's never just like one thing. It's like, okay, so then they do that, which is like bad in and of itself, and then they're sick, then you have to bath them. Normal people would not put up with it. I think we're just not normal.
This video is at close to 1,300 meters elevation gain after 3.5 hours of hiking, and this is how much energy my dogs have. A lot of young Huskies get kind of given up on prematurely just because I think people don't fully understand what they're getting themselves into with the breed. They just know, hey, this breed is gorgeous.
It's a working breed, and there are a lot of, like, what would you say are like the top things? Hair. They're crazy energy.
People not knowing how to channel that or harness that to get them to be relatively normal when they're in the house,
because people just
right?
say to us, oh, I have a Husky and it's a bad dog. And it's like, it's not a bad dog. You just need to understand how Huskies think, and they're like constantly trying to like get into things and like are really clever. A walk? Careful, watch your head on the table. You really have to be on your toes, and if you're not used to an animal challenging you and trying to keep you on your toes, it becomes like a fun game for the Husky, and they will win.
We're not going outside, it's slushy and there's ice and snow everywhere.
Because people always say that you can't have Huskies in a condo, but you can have Huskies in a condo, that's possible. You just need to wear them out or they'll destroy your house, but you just have to work them more.
The thing that made it easier is just time. Like they get a little bit older, they chill out
Totally.
a bit more every year.
Yeah.
And by the time they're like 4 or 5 years old, they're like the best dogs ever.
And it's like this really sad thing because you want to murder them when they're young, and then you get these few years in the middle where they're like amazing and you can like hike with them and you can do all these fun things, and then it's like they're the end of their life.
Are you trotting, Ice? Since when do you trot anymore?
And so it's funny because looking back, like I appreciate so much the chaos, and like I laugh at those stories now, and but I remember being ready to pull our hair out at the time.
Yes.
I would take that a million times over to have them young and running. I'm gonna cry. Young and running in the woods again. Like I'd take that back a million times over.
Come on, you two.
So the name comes from actually when I spent like a year working at a car dealership, and we would take cars as demos as for transportation, and my boss kept trying to get me to take a hatchback because he was like convinced. He's like, yeah, just put the dogs in the hatchback.
You thought it was hilarious.
And from that day on, everybody in that building that I worked with has always referred to me as Huskies in the Hatch.
And then when we went across Canada, it was like, well, what are we going to call ourselves? Like, you know, we have this blog. What's the blog going to be called? We were trying to get a domain name, and there's no way it could be anything other than Huskies in the Hatch. From that day and forevermore, we have always been like known as Huskies in the Hatch.
Thanks for making it all the way through our video. Now is the time when we're supposed to tell you to like and subscribe. So Dustin, tell them.
Join the pack. Like, subscribe. Join. You ruined it.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to say some words. Okay.
It's not awkward. You're making it
Talk
awkward.
to the people. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Just we're normal people, I swear.
I'll see myself out.